Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mindful Transitions. I'm your host, Sonya Figueiredo, where we explore what it means to come home to yourself, one story, one breath, and one brave moment at a time. And today, I have a very special guest, Tigho, and Tigho is a coach, and it's Let's Talk Relationships with Tigho. And she's here to join me today, and we're going to make a regular podcast together talking about relationships, transformation, and most importantly, coming home to yourself and what that looks like. So today we're going to talk about relationships and relationships with oneself. Welcome, Tigho. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, sir. I'm so glad to be here with you today.
Tigho, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. My name is Tigho, and my brand's name is Let's Talk Relationship. Now, I am a relationship coach with strong emphasis on self because I believe that you can give what you don't have. And to the core of every healthy relationship is self-love. We are in a world today where we sometimes forget to look inward. We forget to realize that everything we are searching for is truly inward. And instead of looking inward, we seek validation, we seek approval. And this has a way of impacting our lives negative. And that is why my voice is out today to bring us back home, to realize that the strongest relationship we can have is the relationship we have with ourselves.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. I work with women who are in the corporate sector. What I find is that you can have all the leadership programs in the world, but if you're not fixing yourself and you're in that boardroom and someone says something and all of a sudden you've got all these feelings coming up and you don't know why, it's because of something that happened in past. We need more of you in our world.
Self-love is a powerful tool. Self-love expresses every aspect of our lives. How do you handle conflicts? It starts with you. Some parents, because of the traumas, it brings a kind of insecurity around us. And that is why sometimes, like you said, maybe when you go through, if someone says something and there's this trigger within you, that person is targeting at me. It has nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing to do with you. But when you believe in yourself, you understand who you are, your self-esteem is intact. I tell you the truth. Your confidence never cannot be broken because you know truly who you are. And that is what self-love teaches.
You're speaking my language. A lot of people talk about the resilience factor. Most people don't even know what resilience is. And what's being taught, it's almost suck it up, princess. Put on your big girl's pants because it's just like, brush it off. They're words. They shouldn't hurt you. But you're right. If you've done the work internally and you're comfortable with you and you understand everything that goes into your world, internal and external, it makes all the difference because you're so grounded.
There's a content I worked on, and it was on confidence. Self-love in relation to building your confidence. This brings us back to knowing who we are. When you speak about self-love, you can take away self-awareness, your self-worth, and your self-esteem. Self-love helps you to realize who truly you are. And once you accept your flaws, your strengths, your weaknesses, my sister, my dear, nobody out there wants to tell you who you are better than yourself. You know this already. And these are what builds resiliences today. If you don't know who you are, how do you stand for this? How do you handle it? People will throw shit at you. How do you stand at the face of that? I was at the workplace recently and Someone spoke to me so rudely just for no reason. And people were watching. And I quickly just smiled. And it looks as if nothing happened. And I walked away. And someone walked up to me and was like, how did you handle that so easy? Like, I was imagining you snapping back at that lady. Why should she talk to you like that? That was so wrong of her. She was reminding me of the things I needed to remind myself of. I know who I am. I don't know whether you're getting it. I know who I am. Why should I talk to another human rudely just for no reason, even if you have the reasons for it? Why should you do that? So for me, I have a better understanding because I already knew why I smiled because I knew she had a problem she's not be able to fix. Probably she is not even aware she had a problem. And that is why self is very important. And the most important thing about self-love is self-awareness. I told the lady that came to meet me, I said, listen to me. It's painful, right? He said, yes. I said, well, you know what? I am not scared for her because she has a life that she's carrying in negativity. She doesn't even realize that her real are into your life. This has a way of spreading across every aspect of someone's life, even in our vital aspects, which is relationship. Because research has shown that what gives us fulfillment in life is relationship. And mostly relationship we have with ourselves. So if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, how do you want to build a healthy relationship with another person?
Wow. It's powerful messaging there. Absolutely. I'm thinking of that lady and, how you handled it was beautiful because you didn't empower her first and foremost. It probably made her stand out more because you walked with grace and she didn't. And then I go with what was going on with her right there? What had happened that morning? But also, what had she been taught? All those conditions that we talk about, and you and I know what tribal patterning is and conditioning. It's subconsciously and consciously. Sometimes these words just fly out of our mouths. And we're so enmeshed in it. Half the time we don't even know that it's happening. And although you stop yourself and you go, oh my goodness, what did I just say? And then you start feeling shame and guilt. Man, it's a vicious cycle.
And that is where resilience comes in. I said something earlier that in this fast-paced world we accommodate, but what I'm about to say here is that is why we should take the teachings of self-love so important. Because we're already in this world, so we must learn how to live through this world gracefully. It's not a one-time thing. It is a practice that we need to put in every day, one day at a time. But it has to come from the place of self-awareness. That is very important. You cannot solve a problem you are not aware of. Some persons feel just accept me. No. Self-love is not just accept you. I did a video one because someone called me and they were like, I've been listening to some of your messages, but I'm still very confused. I try to make sure I practice what you say, accept your flaws, accept your strengths, accept your weaknesses, know who you are. But I'm having challenge in this aspect. And I realized that there, there is a lack of knowledge in some of these things. Because the process of accepting you is not for you to remain the same. It's for you to know the areas that you need improvement. It's for you to unlearn and relearn and keep learning. It's for you to build on yourself. And that is why you can give what you don't have. I don't know if you are a believer of Christ. And the Bible tells us, it said, the greatest commandments, it said, one, love the Lord with all your mind, with all your strength, with all your being. And the second is love your neighbor as yourself. Now, this is what this voice is preaching. You want to love your neighbor, you want to love your spouse, you want to love your children. You must first understand what love means to you. You can give what you don't have. You want us to build a better community? Then let's keep pushing this. If you can understand what love means to you, and I understand what self-love means to me, and I understand what a healthy love is, which is self-love, then we can now build healthy relationships within each other. So you understand what boundaries means. You understand what self-compassion means to you. You understand how to handle conflicts. You understand your values, your purpose, your vision. And every action you take is guided by these factors. If someone talks to me rudely, I will be happy. Then you will guide that action by not saying it to the next person. Because you know that if it does that to me, it will make me feel bad. That has many times affected people negatively because they didn't know how to handle. They felt they have a problem because of the way someone spoke to them. But wisdom demands, or knowledge will make you understand that you are not the one that has the problem. It's the person that is talking to you rudely that has the problem. But these are all locked up in a well of knowledge. It's not on the surface. So we have to dig deep and understand this process. And once we can, then we are building a better planet. And that is my message, and that is my voice.
Beautiful, powerful. Thank you. Most people, when they talk about self love, they talk about going for a walk in nature, journaling, taking some time out for yourself, have a bath, and routine, etc. That is all important, right? Because it makes us stop and it helps us focus inwards. But we also, a lot of us don't do. And what we're doing is we're self abandoning because we're not taking the time to focus on what we might consider our flaws and where they've come from. We're not focusing on how to self regulate and stop beating ourselves up. I had many years where I would just come out of a workroom or even parenting and go, what have I just done? I can't believe I did that or I said that. And then for an hour later, and sometimes even late in the night, my mind would be, playbook. What did I do? Did I say this? Why didn't I say that? Blah, blah.
Sometimes it runs through days, not even an hour. It happened to me too. Like before I really came to understand the principles of self-love, I'd be going crazy. I can't concentrate just thinking about what's just happened.
So, what advice would you give someone?
That has to do with self-compassion, giving yourself grace, realizing that you are human, realizing that you cannot all be perfect. We are all striving to, but you are human. It doesn't mean that you are a bad person. And that is where truly self-compassion comes in. You see how you would deal with a friend? Okay, let me throw it to you. Suppose I'm your friend and I come to you and I say, hi, Surya, see what I did. And I have not been able to sleep. This has been going on in my head. Like, it's really disturbing me. It's like, I'm going nuts. I don't know what to do. What would be your advice? Or what will you do?
Firstly, I would be trying to understand why it's driving the person crazy because we're all human, right? And everyone deserves a voice and everyone deserves to be heard. So I'd really be looking at what is making me feel tense or uptight. But then some people would be the opposite to what I'm thinking. And they'd want to either stop talking to the person, avoid the person. But I think once you work out that everybody is human, as you say, then you can approach it with grace and you can listen.
No. A or B or XYZ has done something bad to me, isn't it? I mean, that is where your reference is coming from. Yeah, like, oh, XYZ is something bad to me and it's really getting me crazy, right? The truth is, what you just said is very correct, but I will tell you that the first thing is this. I will just say, okay, you calm down. Okay, calm down. Let's look at it critically, right? Yeah, what exactly? Because it's not everything together that you just piss you off. There must be a particular thing that happened, like maybe a word was said in a way you didn't like it, or maybe you've done something that was not appreciated. Just that particular act is what is really pissing you off. Then we look at it critically, and I said, okay, do you think there's anything we can learn from this? Do you think it's making any sense at all what he did? Can you reason from his own end or his own point of view? They will think about it. Maybe, yeah, it might not be 100% wrong because of the way he said it. Maybe that was what got to me. You know what I mean? I say, oh, yeah, it's just possible that is it. It doesn't mean that he hates you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. But maybe because he had the best approach to it. Sometimes it's not what we say that really matters, it's how we say it. And that is what gets to us. When you look at it, you realize that you were just beating yourself over and over for nothing. Because it just bringing you to a place of understanding and a higher knowledge over the situation. And once you can get yourself to the left, it makes life really easy. Like, example, she spoke rudely, right? But even within that, I was asking, what have I done wrong? You must be accountable for everything, whether from the opposite end, whether from my end. There's something because there's an action, there's a reaction. I think about it over and over, but not in this light. Then it was like, why will she do that? Why will they do such a thing? After all I've done, after all of this, most of the time, the problem is not them, it's us. Yes. Learn from it. If it warrants setting some good boundaries, why not? Because sometimes when we tell people how to treat us, they will keep treating us the way they like treating us. And that is just the truth. For me, I don't scream at anything. My knowledge right now is so superb that I don't have to even open my mouth before I take my actions. I see that in my silent place and I analyze it. It can just be as I'm talking to you, I'm analyzing you. What do they understand what is going on? And I've taken an action. That is why I could smile in the face of someone just yelling at me. I could smile. It comes from a power point. It's not an easy course because so many persons were just there looking and like we just smile and then they walk away. And nobody could understand where that is coming from. Like in this kind of situation, you are smiling. How did you do that? It didn't stop me from reporting to the necessary authority. Those are the right steps to take, not for me yelling. Sometimes just have your quiet time. What I tell people for everything that happens to us, there is a point.
Yes, listening to you, you had the good grace, but the power also. What would normally happen in a situation like that sometimes is that you would start slowly getting the escalation because if you didn't like what was said to you, then you would feel the need to speak up. And then that person would come up and speak up, and slowly it just starts layering. And then it gets out of control. And then all of a sudden, you can look as bad or at fault as the other person, even if they were the ones who said it. Whereas what you were doing was diffusing the situation beautifully. Everyone watched and saw. It's so beautiful because you've got that self-compassion and that love within you and your understanding. You were able to do that. Unfortunately, a lot of us need to walk that pathway and get back to that. One of the things that I was listening to was a podcast yesterday. It was based around trauma and talking about the power of apology. But just I'm sorry. It's, I'm sorry because I said these words to you in a public forum and I realize now that I made you feel bad. I can see what I've done now, right? Most people forget about the power of apology because sometimes, depending on our circumstances, things will happen. But come back and have that sincere apology. But I want to go one step further. Apologize to yourself. Give yourself that apology as well. Because, as you said, we're all human and there are going to be moments. And once you've learnt how to have self-compassion and self-love, there are less moments, but sometimes they're there. So we want to learn how to apologize to our neighbors, our loved ones, and most importantly, ourselves as well. What do you say?
Yeah. Like I will say, it all starts with you. It all starts with you. For you to come to that point of actually going to apologize to another person, the real thing, as you said it, you have come to a place of realization. That is all how it ought to be. But some people just do it so that it will look as if I didn't do it. But the real scenario is this. Before you can come to the place of apologizing, you must have come to a place of understanding that, oh, like what you said, things happened. That sometimes we can't even explain. We are humans, we make mistakes. Like, why did I do this? What is that? Did she really say anything wrong when I said reflecting on what happened? We're talking about the other time when somebody makes you feel bad. First, there must be self-reflection. Apologize to yourself. It's just giving yourself some grace. That is where the self-compassion comes in. Because you realize I'm just human. I made mistakes. Oh my God, maybe I wouldn't have spoken to her like that. That was wrong. It makes you a superhuman. It takes you to the next point of, oh, I need to apologize to her. At that point, you've made peace with yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
You've made peace with yourself. And by taking that next step to apologize to her, then you make peace within yourself. And one thing I said about apology, always make sure it comes from a sincere heart. Because it's an apology that comes from a sincere heart that actually transcends from one level of that friendship to another. Because at that point, if there was self-reflection on what happened, you must have learned some things from it to guide against those acts next time. But if it doesn't come from there, it will happen again. You will keep telling yourself that you are just human. Anything can happen. No, we must learn from everything. And that is why I said everything that happened at this level of my life, I first sit down and learn from it. The ones I scared, the one I think I can work on it. And that's when accepting your flaws coming. But please, let's take it next step to keep making them better.
Absolutely. And I just hear the power of your words. A sincere apology is so important. Some of us are taught to say, particularly women, actually, we're taught to say sorry. Everything we do, sorry, sorry, sorry.
Women, I think it's more of men these days, but they don't know what the women wants to hear.
That's true.
Please, I'm sorry, but that is all they want to hear, and that's not the problem.
Yeah. Actually, I was getting there because I was about to say my husband is learning, right? He's learning to say sorry. But sometimes he'll just say sorry. And as women will too say sorry, but they're not really thinking about it. They're really not quite sure what they're sorry for. They just know that they have to say sorry. But then you go, exactly what you said. What have you learned? What are you truly sorry for? But also, when you say it sincerely, you're also giving yourself the permission to realize what you've done yourself. And so you're also acknowledging and being sorry in the act of saying sorry to somebody else. I love that messaging. Thank you. Tigho, if somebody was to reach out to you and say, how can I learn self-compassion and self-love for myself? What would your first step be in starting that journey?
My first step here is the why. The why. And that is where self-awareness comes in. You must understand the why. Because if the why is not understood, even if I give you the how, you will misuse it.
Yes. You'll only do it for a little while, right? I did a 21-day challenge once, and it was right. I wasn't quite there. All I knew was I wanted to be better. I think I got into maybe day 10 or 11, and it just got so hard. I tried that 21-day challenge 2 or 3 times before I really worked out why I wanted to do it.
Why is the most important thing. What drove my passion today was my own personal life. I've always got a strong belief on self. I remember when I started this journey, my former manager, because I worked in the bank before, sent me a message. She said, Sandra, I worked with you for years and watched your life. Your life was a blessing to me. If you're preaching self-love and there are classes, consider me as your first student.
Oh, wow.
She was my manager. Now, when I mean my manager, I was a subordinate to her. You know what I mean? What am I saying? I was that person strongly believing, but there were still some things that were just not going right. Like how to handle criticism was a problem to me. It gets to me so bad that sometimes, and we can't not just play with the place of our mental health. And the truth is that when you are a true lover of yourself, your mental health is intact. I can tell you that at every point you are in control. And even if you missed it at the time, you know how to quickly recall and you are balanced. Until I realized the why it was getting difficult for me to deal with stuff. And I said, no, this is in me. Sandra, this is in me. Because when some things are going on in your life, there's no peace within you. You are so disturbed. It gets to weigh you down. You think you're living? No. So much is going on within you, nobody understands. Line between living and breaking down. And that is when I sat down with myself. And I started this process. It's a school for me. It's still a process. I'm still on it. I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
We are all learning every day.
Absolutely.
We are. And that is when I told myself, no, nobody, no, if he's preaching self-love to me now, and I say, and I will just look at you and I say, girl, you're doing the right thing. So until you understand the why, it will lose as someone is pushing you to those steps. Like what you say, you started when you wanted journey, you could challenge you because the why is not still strong enough. You must understand, why do I really need this? And this has a pain of actively affecting you in every area of your life. And it has a ripple effect of extending it to your loved ones, to your spouse, to everything around you in life. That is why you must understand why you have to. My first advice, I would tell you to tell me in a scale of 1 to 10, why do you need it? And if you are less than 7, you are not there yet. Because I'm not going to do the work. I will only guide you. You are to put in the work. So if I am giving you the how and you are not putting in the work,
It's not going to work. It's the same with the leadership tools. It will only work so far. It doesn't work 100%. And there's a reason for that. The work you're doing can be hard, right? Because people sometimes are not quite ready to face themselves inwardly and can get a bit scary and dark sometimes. But what happens when they do that work and find out that why? You see some beautiful transformation, very spiritual and uplifting transformations at the same time. Because sometimes we build up all these masks over all these years and we see our lives in a certain way. And we also see our lives through a lens of what we think other people want to see. What I've found through coaching is the original why isn't always the actual why that you need to be in touch with. And
Yeah.
when you find that one, that's a light bulb moment. Everything falls into place.
And that original why is within us.
Yes.
It's right in here. You can't dig it out until you come to the place of reflection. That is why sometimes in our journey of life, like I tell the few persons I've worked with, there must be time for self-reflection. They call it journaling, but I call it self-reflection journaling.
Yeah.
Because it's in those moments that you actually realize so many things.
Mm.
Maybe that have gone wrong, maybe that you didn't handle well, maybe that you need improvement, maybe that you need to enhance on, maybe that you need to hold on to keep thriving. Is in those moments of
Yeah.
self.
Yeah, journaling is such a powerful tool. A lot of my friends do journaling and it's such a beautiful practice. I've not really been so good at it until I realized I didn't have to write it down. If I'm walking and something is coming up, I'll just hit record on my phone and I will just speak it out. Through the act of speaking out, I come to my own realizations.
You've got digital with it already. It's here. It's all good. Anything that works for you is all good. But the most important thing is you putting it to work.
Absolutely. I still believe in the power of the pen. It's a beautiful practice and you think differently when you're putting pen to paper. I do have a journal and I do write in it sometimes, but I find that sometimes I just need to get it out. And so I'll do it a different way. Yeah.
And journaling is very good too in our lives when it comes to self-love. Those little things that you ignore, they are powerful. It can just be that cup of tea with a friend or going for a walk. Those little moments, they are powerful in our journey of life. Sometimes we just overlook that little walk that you had with a friend, with a genuine friend. I love using that word genuine because some we find ourselves in a world that people just call anybody a friend. So there are various types of friendships. Like, but if you want to build a good relationship, you must build it with people that are genuine. And that is why I kept using that word. If you've listened to any of my videos, I normally end it with genuine relationship. We can make the world a better place.
Mm. Yes. Genuine friendships seems to be getting harder in today's age because we're so used to instant gratification and people don't even pick up a phone anymore and have a phone conversation. People do everything through text and the texts are getting shorter. I'm midlife, so I'm more conscious of building friendships. We were busy with our children and work and you let friendships go. And then all of a sudden you realize you get to an age and you go, where have all my friends gone? I'm fortunate I'm on a beautiful street in my suburb where women come together. People who know me when I get on webinars, I always say it takes a village to raise a child, but you know what? It takes a village to ensure no woman sits alone.
Yeah.
And there is power in healing and there's a power in having a cup of tea and chatting. And it goes right back to my grandmother because she knew how to do that and her house was always open. It didn't matter who you were. You needed to chat and to cry and to laugh. She was there. Her kettle was on.
Just come in and have a cup of tea. I think there's a place in this suburb too where you have the community crowd. where women just come. It's not only women, everybody can come in. It can be, it can be women, it can be men. They do all sort of, they like cook together, gardening, with, as you had me some gardening, sort of exercises together. And that is a way of actually building a strong relationship among and within each other. Yeah. So, like you said, it's a true word. Genuine friendship is becoming very scarce.
And it's so important for our self esteem to have those genuine connections and friendships.
I'll tell you, I worked on some of those clips already. Genuine connection, what I would just say is, it should be built around your values, your purpose, and your vision.
Yes.
Because people will not really know you for who you truly are. You are just on the surface. So let's come back home and let's be the people we truly are. Maybe it's from upbringing, our family background. These are some of the factors that affect us because of what we see our parents do. We did not even question it when we became of age. We just want to dive into it. They keep doing those things. Like I just said I told one of my clients a time ago, I said, you can't keep doing it the way of your parents and you want to expect different results. It's not possible. We appreciate our parents, we appreciate the community we grew up, but it comes to a point in your life, and that is where self-reflection comes in. Self-reflection really is questioning some of those things that you grew up with and ask yourself, why were they like this? Even question so many things around you that are no longer working in your benefit. But if you sense that it's something not too right, question if you want to research, why not? Get to that understanding and leave you for who you are, not trying to be A or B. That I am one advocate of don't imitate anybody. You cannot imitate people and you want the best for yourself. It's not possible. You want to attract the best. There are factors that surround this. Come up, learn from us. Come on, click on let's start relationship. Let's take you through this process to discover your true self. And once you discover your true self, it will be difficult for you to attract the best in your life.
It gets tiring when you're trying to pretend you're somebody that you're not. And eventually it just slips up, or you make a mistake, or you snap. I'm a self professed people pleaser and giver. And I learned that from a child. I learned because if I said the right things, did the right things, I wouldn't get into trouble. I'm talking about real trouble. Back in my day, being in trouble was different than what it is now. So it gets tiring because I built a lot of my friendships initially without even realizing it. I would, the one who would put my hand up first, I would say, come over for dinner and don't bring anything. Or if somebody was moving and I had several things with children, I would still shuffle. All it did was it got me burnt out. When I talk about maybe I don't have a lot of friends right now, it's because I am in that watershed moment, because I have learned who I am. I have learned my boundaries and I know what my needs are now. My values are family first, followed by community, and then service. But the service for me is giving to my clients and giving to those that I are like-minded. So yeah, it's everything here. I'm going tick, tick, tick.
You are absolutely correct. That is just what it is. The truth is, it's not difficult to find genuine friends, but there are very few out there. So if you have one, two, three, please respect them. Don't trade them for silver or gold because they are very good.
Yes, they are. Well, thank you for your messaging. What I'd love to know before we sign off, how do people get in contact with you? How can they reach out to you and have a conversation?
Please visit my social media and just at Let's Talk Relationship with Tigho. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. Okay? And you can join. There is a link in my bio in case you want to have a direct contact with me. I'm always here to make sure you have the best of you. Because truly is, you can give what you don't have. And if you can find the best within you, then I guarantee you will find a world of peace, joy, and happiness. It might not come all the time, but even in the face of challenges, because you find that peace within you, you will find peace to handle that conflict and that challenge with ease, while giving yourself so much grace and happiness. And with that, you have peace with your relationships, in your community, among your family. And that is my message. Don't forget that we always say with genuine friendship, we can make the world a better place. You must be genuine with yourself before you can be genuine with another person.
Key messaging, everyone. Genuine friendships with yourself first, self-compassion, grace, be kind to yourself, give yourself love first. Tigho and I are going to have regular podcasts. So if you're listening to this now and you want to hear about various topics, give us a shout out, email us, give us some suggestions, and come and have some chats with us because we would love you to join us on our journey because we are one mindful step at a time.
That is why we are here, to serve you and to make sure we create a better community together. Somebody asked me recently, he reached out to me and he said, why is it difficult to find true love in today's world? It is difficult because of so many factors that we cannot deliberate on it. She's still going through the process. The first thing I'll tell you is it's about discovering yourself. These are the journey of self-love. People believe that self-love is going for that flamboyant vacation, spoiling yourself with clothing and all that. Is okay. It makes you happy, but it's beyond that. That's why we are here, to make sure that even in the chaos life, or in this chaos world, you are still finding peace in the midst of it all. Every answer you're looking for is within you. So you must make it right within you for you to make it right out there. And finding love will to be very easy. It might not come suddenly, but if you can truly love yourself, the true love will bring you.
Yes, it all starts with you. Come home to yourself and everything else flows. Thank you so much, Tigho, for being with me today. And you can find Tigho at Let's Talk Relationships with Tigho. I am going to put her information down in the bio. Please reach out to her. And we look forward to talking to you again shortly. Thank you, Tigho.